Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Efrem Graham. The White House says the updated Obamacare website is performing well. Saturday marked the self-imposed deadline the administration set to have it fixed. But questions still remain about the site's stability and the amount of traffic it can actually handle. The White House is hoping a more operational website will mark a fresh start for the president and his health care law. Round-the-clock repairs leading up to Saturday's deadline have resulted in some improvements.
I think that they can expect to have a lot less issues and errors with their user experience.
Still ahead of the deadline, government officials work to keep consumers' expectations low, proving just how delicate some of those repairs still are.
To be clear, November 30th does not represent a relaunch of healthcare.gov.
The White House even urged consumers to shop on the healthcare.gov website only during off-peak hours. Supporters of the president urge Americans to focus on the number of people who will soon have insurance, rather than problems that remain with the website.
I think the president can right this ship. This website is now apparently functional. Now, I haven't tried the website, but if this program works, and I think it will, 3 months from now, a huge number of people who didn't have health insurance are going to have it, and mostly at a better price.
But Republicans say while people may now be able to actually log on, significant problems remain.
I talked to some people in the insurance industry this morning, and they told me that most of the front end may be looking good. People may be able to get on and get responses, but the information coming out the back end to the insurance companies is still garbage.
Other critics say the real problem doesn't lie in a broken website, but in a flawed law.
And unfortunately, as people enroll, I think there's going to be a lot of negative surprises as to what they're able to enroll in.
And work on the healthcare.gov website will continue into December, but the automated part of the system used to pay insurers won't be ready until 2014.
Holiday shoppers spent about 3% less than last year during the Black Friday sales. Stores drew more shoppers than last year, but they still spent less. Big chain stores opened on Thursday, and according to ShopTrack, traffic on Thanksgiving Day was up 27%, as nearly a third of shoppers headed to stores on the holiday. Early estimates show overall spending expected to reach $57.4 billion for the weekend. That's down from $59 billion last year. Many Christmas shoppers will also head online today, looking for those deep discounts that are offered on Cyber Monday.
Federal authorities have begun their investigation into that deadly train crash in New York City over the weekend. The early morning Metro North train from Poughkeepsie to Manhattan's Grand Central Station derailed Sunday. 4 people were killed and more than 60 were injured, including the train's conductor. A passenger on the train says there was smoke and debris everywhere, and people were thrown to the other side of the train. Reports say the train was traveling faster than the speed limit in that particular area. The accident is the second passenger train derailment this year for the rail service.
Trinity Broadcasting Network co-founder Dr. Paul Crouch died Saturday. He'd battled with heart problems over the last 10 years, but his enthusiasm and zeal to work for God's kingdom never faltered.
All over the country, they're coming to know Jesus. Church, I think we ought to rejoice because the whole world is getting saved. Hallelujah!
Crouch and wife Jan founded TBN in 1973. It eventually became the world's largest Christian television network. Crouch passed away at 2:32 a.m. Saturday, according to TBN, losing a long battle with chronic heart problems. He was hospitalized in October, but soon returned to work. He broadcast from various locations around the world in recent weeks. But he might have known his time was short. Here's what he had to say to his son Matthew last month in London.
My son, your wilderness is just beginning in a way. I'll be heading on home to glory before long. God bless you, but I can tell you, son, the same God that provided for Jan and me and all of this TBN family will provide for you.
CBN's own founder, Pat Robertson, said in a statement, "I was deeply saddened to learn of the passing of Paul Crouch, who was a friend for decades. Paul was a pioneer in Christian television. The channels and studios that Paul built around the world are an incredible achievement and will live on as a permanent legacy." CBN programs are among the many popular Christian TV shows featured on TBN. Crouch and his family celebrated TBN's 40th anniversary this year with 84 satellite channels with more than 18,000 TV affiliates. But in recent days, the 79-year-old TBN founder had been speaking of his final journey and destination.
Just think, from Jesus' own lips, well done, good and faithful servants. Enter into the joys of thy Lord.
Fellow ministers joined others on TBN's social media pouring out tributes. John Hagee, founder of San Antonio's Cornerstone Church, posted, "Paul Crouch changed the course of Christian history by building a Christian network that spreads the gospel of Jesus Christ to the nations of the world every day."
New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan says the American debate over gay marriage is not over, but the Catholic Church may have been outmarketed. He explained the complicated battle in a weekend interview.
Sometimes we've been caricatured as being anti-gay, and as much as we say, wait a minute, we're pro-marriage, we're pro-traditional marriage, we're not anti-anybody. I don't know, when you have forces like Hollywood, when you have forces like politicians, when you have forces like some opinion molders that are behind it, it's a tough battle.
Now, despite that difficulty, Dolan says the Catholic Church will not give up on its position.
A 7-year-old boy was tortured and murdered for his Christian faith in India. Gospel for Asia reports Anmol's body was pulled from a pond last week. There were signs of a brutal beating, and autopsy reports indicate the final cause of death was drowning. Anmol's parents had last seen their son alive before he left for Sunday school back on November 17th. The founder of Gospel for Asia called the child's death unthinkable, but says the persecution of Christians in his country has increased 400% in the past few years.
The National Security Council is urging North Korea to release 2 detained Americans. 85-year-old Merrill Newman has been in the country for more than a month, and Korean-American missionary Kenneth Bae has been detained for more than a year. North Korea sees missionary work as a Western threat to its government. Bae's family said over the weekend they're including Merrill Newman in their prayers as well. Newman was shown on North Korea state media reading an apology for alleged crimes during the Korean War and for hostile acts against the state during a recent trip.
A former Israeli prime minister is accusing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of making war with the United States. In a speech, Ehud Olmert blasted Netanyahu for not supporting the U.S. agreement with Iran on its nuclear program, but Netanyahu said he would not be quiet when it comes to Israeli security. Netanyahu is in Rome for 2 days to meet with Italian leaders and Pope Francis. He attended a Hanukkah ceremony at the Great Synagogue in Rome. He also told the Jewish community that Iran is looking for atomic bombs, which threaten not only Israel, but Italy and Europe. He pledged not to let Iran use its nuclear power against Israel.
Coming up, Israelis were green long before it was cool, and today they're world leaders in conserving energy. Stay tuned to see amazing energy-saving innovations, all made in Israel.
Hi, my name is Breda. I'm just your typical 9-year-old. I love singing, dancing, reading, discovering the simple truth. My grandpa says you're never too young or old to learn the value of a dollar. He taught me the true value of this paper dollar. You see this little gold coin? It says $1 on it. But guess what? That was a long time ago. Today, this gold dollar is worth over 100 paper dollars. This paper dollar is now only worth 1 penny compared to America's former money, the gold dollar. My grandpa says the only money worth saving today is real money, gold or silver coins. He's pretty smart. How our paper dollars lost their value, he says. It's all explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. It's easy and fun to read. If you call the number on the screen, I will send you a copy totally free. Next time, I will explain the simple truth about money.
Millions of Americans with an ostomy live their lives to the fullest every day. And over the last 10 years, thousands have chosen Liberator Medical as their caring and reliable resource for ostomy supplies. Liberator Medical is a nationally accredited Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance provider, so we can handle all your Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance paperwork and billing. And Liberator Medical has been chosen as a preferred supplier by all the leading ostomy manufacturers, including Coloplast, Hollister, Convatec, and Generics. We supply all these leading ostomy brands so you can always get the ostomy supplies and accessories you want and trust. And all of our ostomy care specialists are product certified by the manufacturers. Shipping is free and discreetly delivered right to your door. Unhappy with your present ostomy supplier? Call Liberator Medical and ask about our free ostomy sampling program. We also offer catheters and urological supplies.
Call 1-800-513-3076. That's 1-800-513-3076.
Every 2 years, the U.S. Department of Energy hosts a solar decathlon, a contest that challenges design teams from around the world to create energy-efficient homes.
This past summer, Team Israel won first place for Energy Balance. The team designed a home that runs entirely on solar power and creates more energy than it consumes. Now, being green is nothing new for Israel. The Jewish people were pioneering clean and green technology even before Israel became a state.
To many people, Israel is a place of Bible stories and ancient ruins. In hundreds of archaeological digs like this one, Israelis are carefully preserving their past, but they're also keeping an eye on the future. And not just their future, the future of the world.
One of the Jewish commandments is Tikkun Olam, which means, translation to English, is to repair the world under God, to make the world a better place.
I see a direct correlation between our belief in Tikkun Olam and this incredible explosion of activity and innovation in Startup Nation.
Today, the world is focused on saving the environment, but Israelis were green long before it was popular, about a century before.
It's part of the Zionism dream to create a green land, a green country, and actually with time, with experience and research, we have studied how to do it.
The prophet Isaiah wrote about a time when the desert would rejoice and blossom as a rose. To Israelis, that's more than an ancient prophecy. It's a commandment.
Israel is a tiny state. Look at a map of our region. We use always to joke, there's not even enough place on the map to write the name of Israel. So we had to conserve it, to keep it, to maintain it. This is what we have.
To the early settlers in Israel, going green meant planting trees. And they started in the Negev Desert, a place that gets only 1 to 7 inches of rain a year. In the 1940s, Jerusalem was still under Arab control. And Israel's first prime minister, David Ben-Gurion, believed that the Negev was the future of Israel. So he ordered the creation of a man-made forest there. But his team of scientists said it couldn't be done. Ben-Gurion's response? No problem. We'll get new scientists. The prime minister got his new scientists, and the Negev desert began to blossom. Today, the Yatir forest has more than 4 million trees, including carob, pine, olive, and fig.
Israel is amongst the fewest countries in the world that at the end of the 20th century, there are much more trees than were at the beginning of this century. Till now, we have planted over 240 million trees, which is a nice number to this small country.
In the center of the forest is a vineyard, planted on the ruins of another one that existed here 2,000 years ago. Scientists researched the best plants to grow in the Negev, and one of their sources was the Bible.
There are plenty of archaeological ruins everywhere. Water cisterns, dams, terraces, everywhere. And we have started with reconstruction of some of these ancient farms. We have planted biblical trees, and the trees are surviving without additional irrigation by collecting runoff water, the same systems that our forefathers did 2,000 years ago.
The trees not only produce fruit, they also clean the environment by absorbing carbon dioxide. Studies show that planting similar forest on just 12% of the world's arid land would reduce carbon in the atmosphere by a gigaton a year. That's equal to the carbon output of 1,000 coal plants. Today, scientists from around the world come to Israel to study the Yatir forest.
We like to serve. We are proud to serve all our achievements to other countries. And of course, we want to share our knowledge and study from other countries' experience.
Israelis are not only working to protect the environment, they're also looking for new ways to keep the country running without oil.
Up next, find out how Israel has avoided being dependent on foreign oil and pioneered green technology like solar panels before the rest of the world had even heard of them.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Israel has been one of the world's top innovators when it comes to improving the environment. Before the break, we told you how they planted millions of trees and made the deserts bloom.
But their efforts also include amazing technologies that have helped Israel develop a strategy of energy independence. Here's the conclusion of our report.
Israel itself, it's a beautiful country, a country definitely worth visiting with tremendous, lush, interesting areas, but we don't have the traditional gold mines and massive oil and diamonds. We basically have a country of human resources rather than natural resources. So we very much value what little we have.
Israel may be short on oil, but it does have one natural resource that's virtually unlimited.
Israel's greatest natural resource, sun.
We do have a lot of sun here. It's a hot place, so we produce solar energy.
For much of the year, the sun beats down on a land that's mostly desert. But what some might see as a liability, Israel has turned into an advantage. Israelis have been using rooftop solar panels since the 1950s, when they were still unheard of in the rest of the world.
90% of Israeli homes have a solar water heater. There's nowhere else in the world that has that kind of thing.
In 2011, Israel's first commercial solar field was completed in the southern Arava Valley. The company, Arava Power, now has 9 other fields under construction and plans for 40 more energy projects in Israel over the next 3 years. Their goal is to supply 1/10 of Israel's power. The company's founders are now building solar fields in several third world countries like Haiti, Ecuador, and Rwanda. The solar field in Rwanda should be up and running by the end of 2013 and will provide 8% of Rwanda's energy.
Israel has been a leader in clean technology from the beginning. Part of it also is that our neighbors have had a lot of oil and have sort of corrupted the world economic system and the world political system and used it unfairly to impose, I think, sometimes harmful ideologies. And therefore, if Israel can fight the world dependence on oil, what would be a better thing than that?
In 2005, an Israeli software developer named Shai Agassi heard a similar question at a conference.
We were asked, how are you going to make the world a better place?
Agassi's answer, take a single country off oil, then the rest of the world will follow. The first step was to assemble a fleet of cars that could run without oil. So Agassi started a company called Better Place, which offered an electric battery-powered car. The car battery recharges overnight in special power outlets installed in the owner's home. And for longer trips, drivers can switch out the car's battery at stations all over Israel. The entire process takes less than 5 minutes.
I hear these go fast.
They're quite fast, so you have no gearbox.
Why is it so fast?
What you'll feel on the acceleration is full maximum torque. There's no gears, there's just literally drive, neutral, and reverse.
0 to 60 in how many seconds?
About 6.9, I believe.
Really? Maybe I can wipe out my cameraman as I go by. As a consumer, one of the things that is really appealing to me is the absolute quiet.
The goal with this car was to make a car and a network that can support it, that appeals to everyone. You don't have to be a greenie to say, I want this car. You can say, I like it because it's fast and it has great power and acceleration. And I can fit my entire family in it.
That was fun. Unfortunately, public demand for electric cars hasn't caught up with the vision of Better Place. And the company filed for bankruptcy in May of 2013. But some experts say timing is everything, and the battery-powered car will ride again. In the meantime, Israelis have another option that's just as green, and thousands of dollars cheaper. In 2008, an avid biker named Azar Gaffney had an idea.
Suddenly it just struck my mind. Why not to make a bicycle out of cardboard? Soon after, I talked to 3 engineers, which I really highly appreciate, and they said, it's impossible. There's no way it can be done. While I was eating with my wife one day, she noticed that I'm a little bit disturbed. I told her all the things about the engineers I went to and all the things that they said about it's impossible. And then she looked at me. And then she said, I know you. If you're not going to try it, then you're going to drive yourself crazy. Then you're going to drive me crazy. Then you're going to drive the entire family crazy. So just go ahead and try it.
4 years and 6 prototypes later, the cardboard bicycle was ready to ride. The finished bike weighs in at just 20 pounds, and yet it can hold a 500-pound rider. And unlike regular cardboard, it's completely waterproof. Mass production on the bike will start in late 2013. It'll cost about $9 to make and sell for around $60.
Where do you get this from? What right do you have to dream that way? We're people of dreams. It's all through the Bible. That's always been our methodology, if you will, in the Jewish people. God gives us dreams. It's for man to interpret them and man to experience them. And that's really the roots, I think, of much of our innovation. The fact that we're so flourishing here is a sign that this was God's will, that this is what was supposed to happen. This is the plan. We're good people. We're family-oriented people. We have an incredible army and society. I think that we have just begun to figure out that we have to tell our story about who we are rather than engage in constant bickering over the Middle East conflict. We have to go convey what the beauty of Israel is.
Do you have an idea for an invention or a new product? Brian and Alice Jagosh, the inventors of the halftime drill driver, did. They invented a power drill attachment that lets you drill, flip, and drive in seconds. Brian and Alice licensed their invention to the company that brought you the Snuggie, and it's now selling in major retailers nationwide. Look for the InventHelp Caveman on the package. If you have an invention that you would like to try to patent and submit to companies for possible review and want free information on how InventHelp may be able to assist you, call now. InventHelp is America's largest inventor service company with sales offices in more than 60 cities nationwide. Call InventHelp today for free information. Our clients made a financial gain with their invention, but this is just their individual result. Brian and Alice's experience is not typical, as only a very small number of inventions are licensed or sold in stores.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-559-8567. That's 1-800-559-8567.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Finally, the Christmas season is underway early in Bethlehem.
The town of Jesus' birth kicked off its celebration with a tree lighting ceremony Sunday. Several thousand people gathered for the event in Manger Square. That's just in front of the Church of the Nativity, built on the site where some Christians believe Jesus was born. Last year, the tree lights were switched on in mid-December, but a Bethlehem official says the city is expanding the season to attract more visitors. Christians make up a small minority of Palestinians, and Bethlehem is one of the only areas where Christmas is really celebrated.
You know, that must be absolutely special to be in Bethlehem for Christmas, where it
I'd
all
love
started.
to do that. Love it.
I would love to do that one day. Well, that's going to do it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make it a marvelous Monday, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. all the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.